Ho 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 hello everyone. Ugh. I don't know why I opened with that. Sorry. Welcome back to Where Are We Now? The only digital exploration series that you're going to watch today to feature a discussion of the human digestive system. To my intergalactic audience, it's December on Earth now, which means that many of us humans will be celebrating a holiday called Christmas. Christmas is kind of hard to pin down because while it has its roots in religion, lots of people, myself included, just see it as a chance to spend time with the people we care about and exchange gifts with them. Well, this year, I have a little homemade gift for all of you watching right now. Go ahead, open it. Yeah, that's right. The gift is that I am not doing a Christmas-themed episode. I don't know, I figured the Christmas propaganda is already infecting every other aspect of our lives, so we need a break. Before the holly-pilled jolly cells come crawling out of the woodwork with their Grinch allegations, let me just say, I love the vibe of Christmas. The lights, the eggnog, the snow. It's nice, it really is. I just don't think it's worth exploring in Gmod when you can just walk into any Walmart and feel like the holidays are throwing up on you. St. Nicholas is not a trailblazer on the virtual frontier, guys. So, in defiance of the commodification of Christmas by the capitalist machine, today's episode is centered around Gmod maps that are utterly unique. These maps are the fruit of wonderful minds. They completely defy categorization because they are truly one of a kind. Throughout the course of doing research for this series, I occasionally come across things that I would love to talk about, but no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't figure out a theme. These worlds have stubbornly refused to be pigeonholed, and I think that's a testament to the never-ending story of the human mind. This video is going to be a tribute to the non-derivative, a celebration of the miscellaneous. Okay, I think I've stalled enough. Ready? Yeah, you're ready. Let's get started. The first spectacle on the schedule today is called Reverse Aircraft Carrier by Meek. Yeah, the name definitely fits. This is exactly what you picture in your mind's eye when the words reverse, aircraft, and carrier are uttered in proximity to each other. This configuration raises a lot of questions right off the bat. I don't even have to look around anymore to ask why. Why is there an aircraft carrier-like thing modified to hold water in the middle of the desert? And look, we actually are moving too, so someone's transporting this. Wow, I was about to say this is a boatload of water. Jesus, what's wrong with me today? Anyway, someone's moving it somewhere. It's definitely giving Mad Max, I will say that. In those movies, water is basically liquid gold, so if we're looking at that level of scarcity, this makes a lot of sense. Oh, there are tracks in the sand behind us. What's up with that? Oh, we're on treads. That's cool. So this would be the biggest terrestrial vehicle ever made, right? I mean, I think this even has those gargantuan excavators beat in terms of sheer mass. Look at how slow we're moving, too. I can walk faster than this thing. They'd better have ample provisions on hand somewhere if the crew of this thing is going to make it through the desert at this pace. Realistically, you'd need a functioning small village somewhere on this thing. This is cool as hell, man. I love huge things, especially if they move. This is reminding me of that one level in Halo 4, where you have to escort the mammoth across the desert canyons. This map has less glitches than that level, though. I played through the entire Master Chief Collection a couple of years ago, and I vividly remember there being a game-breaking bug, where the next section of the map just wouldn't load in ahead of the mammoth, so you'd just be stuck there in space, unable to continue unless you restarted the entire mission and prayed to the gaming gods that it didn't happen again. Man, good times. In the bottom of the command bridge, we've got a small living quarters by the looks of things. 6 beds, a little kitchen, a table to play cards at, and there's even a bathroom with a shower and a toilet. God, it must be awful to have to share a bathroom with 5 other people. My heart goes out to all my dorm-dwelling friends who have to deal with that constantly. Yeah, I have no idea how many people it would realistically take to crew a vessel of this size, but I'm guessing it's more than 6, even for a skeleton crew. If any World of Warships players want to take a crack at guesstimating the figures in the comments, feel free to. This doesn't seem like a full-sized aircraft carrier, so maybe you can get away with 6 if you have absolutely no security or anything, but I don't know, that seems really stupid if this is the grim Mad Max situation I think it is. People are going to be fiending for this water, man. This carrier is a huge target, and it isn't exactly perfectly camouflaged. It's yellow for shit's sake. You go anywhere near civilization, you're gonna have gangs of motorbike bandits and shit driving up next to you and taking pot shots. Armed guards are a must-have. You've got some turrets on the outside of this thing, you could have people man those. Oh hey, I just noticed the airplane up in the sky, that's a step in the right direction. They could spot threats from miles away. Hey, what does this button do? It looks like it's lowering that tank over there to the lower level. I didn't even realize there was a lower level. What's down there? Even more water. You know, water is really dense. I'm actually amazed this thing can carry this much without buckling or tipping over. Especially if it starts sloshing around. There's an airboat down here too. It isn't armed though, so you could really only use it for scouting up ahead. And this must be the engine. Yeah, that's a big ass piece of industrial machinery. Watch your fingers, and your arms, and your legs. I wonder what a thing like this runs on. It definitely sounds like a regular gasoline-powered combustion engine. Oh yeah, this is the fuel tank down here below the floor. If this is post-apocalyptic though, they're more likely to be pumping straight crude into this thing. You can power a crude oil engine with a bunch of stuff too, like vegetable oil or peanut oil. Wow, a lot more beds in here. This would be an incredibly depressing place to sleep at night, and not to mention loud. Surrounded by dozens of snoring, farting crewmates that probably all reek. Ugh. This is in sharp contrast to Hermit's stump from the last episode, the one we did in Skyrim, because while that would be, like, the best sleep you could ever get, this is the worst, by far. At least this elucidates the crew issue I had. If there's a person for each of these beds, there probably is enough people to man the carrier effectively. They even have a cafeteria with a kitchen in the back and a big old bathroom with showers and toilets. You wouldn't think they would go in for this much plumbing. I assumed that the water was being transported from one place to another as a precious commodity, but this opens up another line of thinking. What if this is a world with plenty of water, like widespread flooding and whatnot? Then you might want to load up on it specifically to facilitate a long and tortuously slow journey through the desert. What if this is a colony of people looking for a better place to live? They could be searching for that one last patch of green on the planet. That's definitely plausible and interesting to think about. God, the amount of resources to get this thing moving and maintained would be staggering. Even more so if we're talking about a post-industrialized world without widespread factories and stuff. This vessel is likely the work of several generations of people. It would have to be. How else could you make something this big and functional without global manufacturing? I bet that's a huge flex in this world too. Like someone gets in your face and you can go, oh yeah, well guess what? My great-granddad built 6 feet of the left tread of the reverse aircraft carrier. What did your great-granddad do? They'd back off for sure. Well, this has been a very thought-provoking map. I know it's just a funny idea and that Mettle Meek probably didn't do this much world-building thinking when they made this, but it's a lot of fun to theorize and let the environment materialize its own story. It's definitely one of a kind. I think it's appropriate to pay homage to the original creator of the concept, Stan Mott. He was an illustrator who drew all kinds of nonsensical and imaginative technology, including the reverse aircraft carrier here. Right here is the original image. It's definitely his most visually intriguing work. I like how in the original there's even frigging sharks in the water, just to make it more interesting for everyone on board. The idea of a moving ecosystem supported by one giant entity is one that just never gets old to me. Reefbacks from Subnautica and that one episode of Doctor Who where the entire civilization rides on the back of a space whale both come to mind. Alright, that was a very good start to this showcase. Up next, we've got something weird. Have you seen the Magic School Bus before? This next map we're exploring is called Inside Human by MergasTroll. If you've been playing Garry's mod for as long as I have, then this most likely looks very familiar to you. That's because this is heavily inspired by an older map called You Are a Virus Inside Joe. This version is just bigger and newer. If memory serves, I think that map was very popular on zombie survival game mode servers. You can probably tell why. This is clearly special in its own right. So we're inside a person, Osmosis Jones style, huh? Well, it looks like they take good care of their chompers at least. Actually, this is more like a Honey I Shrunk the Kids situation. In Osmosis Jones, they're microscopic. This feels more like we're maybe a centimeter tall or so. I guess the first question that comes to mind now is how we get out. The most obvious method would be to hit that Uve and get thrown up. Damn, not even a lurch? We must be dealing with a real throat goat here. That's okay. I didn't really want to get out anyways. Ooh, these must be the ear canals. There's lots of space back here. Good thing our host here doesn't have a head cold or anything. Wait, are those red blood cells? That doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but that's okay. We use our imaginations here. Whoa. Oh, sick. We're in their brain. You think if I punch it in the right spot I can give them a new accent? Nah, better not. Ew. Stepping inside these eyeballs makes me feel so unclean. Man, eyes are so weird and cool. Look at this shit. This is all on all of us. We all have this. Alright, I've seen enough of this. Let's head deeper in. Maybe we can find Miss Frizzle if we look hard enough. You know what? That episode of the Magic School Bus was always a little weird to me. Not because all the kids almost get got by white blood cells and Miss Frizzle gets to keep her job. No, it's weird to me because Ralphie thinks it's a great idea to have the class shrink down and go inside of him to cure his cold. I mean, he's fucking ecstatic about it. You'd think nobody would want to have someone shrink down and go under their guts unless absolutely necessary. Ralphie, you have options, my guy. Take a Mucinex or something. Yeah, he probably grew up to be a weird dude. I think this is the heart, by the way. That's why the blood cells are going into it. It looks fairly healthy as hearts go, but it might be a little small. Maybe we're in the Grinch, pre-redemption arc. Ah, these must be the lungs then. This is reminding me of the ending of Half-Life. Wait, what's all this blue vapor? That can't be healthy. This is what the blueberry-flavored vape cartridges do to you, kids. They make your lungs all blue and shit. You don't want that. Chew gum instead. Okay, it's stomach time. The digestive system is, after all, one of the funniest parts of the human anatomy. What the hell? They just ate a whole chicken leg, bone and all? And burgers, too? Gee willikers, lots of burgers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7. Damn, dude, slow down. They're not even chewing. What the fuck? These ones are lodged into the side of the stomach lining. That can't be good at all. Listen, I like burgers as much as the next guy, but not if this is the next guy. You gotta have portion control, man, or your blood is gonna turn into sludge. They're just lettuce and meat burgers, too, not even cheeseburgers. That's the real mystery. Actually, upon further inspection, these are really small compared to the esophagus, so maybe these are like the little gummy burgers you could get sometimes. Still, you should really chew your food. Alright, I think we all know where this is going, yeah? If there's poop down here, I'm not gonna show it. This is already gross enough to the people who eat during these videos. Just close your eyes and be thankful the map's creator didn't add sound effects. You know, I kinda love the little chicken legs. They make me cackle for some reason. Is it weird that they also make me kinda hungry? We're in the large intestine now, I think. What's the over-under on there being a toilet at the end of this tunnel? I'd take that bet. Isn't it strange that we all have like 15 feet of flesh rope inside of us at all times? Hey, that's a nice clean colon. Not a hemorrhoid in sight. Congratulations. I actually can't tell what's out there. Only one way to find out. Splashdown. Alright, good bowel movement, everyone. I'd like to first thank my mom and also Vegetables for getting things moving up there. If you don't think I know what you're thinking right now, think again. I'm not looking up. I'm just not going to do it. You want to see Butthole, you're going to have to download the map yourself. That was kind of cool. I can see Ralphie's side of the argument now, actually. The toilet is the end of the map. It doesn't transition into a flushed away scenario or anything like that. Making a map for Gmod that takes place inside a person's organs and stuff is crazy. Can you imagine showing something like this to a Neanderthal and telling them that this is what their insides look like? They might club you in the head. Oh, here's what it looks like from the outside, by the way. Yeah, creepy, right? Please tell me I'm not the only one who thinks this looks more than a little bit like Squidward. Anyway, this was really well executed, and totally a unique idea. There are very few games that have you shrinking down and going inside a person like this. Kudos to both Hugh Like Poo for the original 2012 map, and to MergasTroll for revamping it, bringing it up to speed, and for not adding sound effects. I just want to say really quick, sorry to all my mealtime viewers, and you're welcome to all the vor freaks out there. Okay, let's move on. What I have next for all of you is sort of a rapid-fire segment. Many of the most creative and unique maps for Gmod are actually really small and not big enough for an entire chapter of an episode. But it would be tragic for me not to feature some of these artistic maps just because they weren't big enough, so let's take a look at some of them, shall we? This map is called Sventov by Graves. Wow, it looks cold as hell here. At first I was thinking Antarctic or maybe Greenland or something, but looking up at the atmosphere, I don't even think we're on Earth. And this is a little dark for snow, it might be ash. If we are on Earth, this is far in the future. There's a few of these big blocks laying around. They're chiseled and decorative, which makes me wonder where they come from. Maybe someone was building something? Hey, check out the ribbons of snow whipping around on the ground. You almost never see that level of detail in games. And of course, we've got this big ominous red and black pyramid in the center here. It looks like Darth Vader's summer home. This thing looks old. It's all red and evil looking inside. I wonder what's up there. It's a tree. Interesting. To us, this is just a tree, but that's because we have trees everywhere. If you walk outside almost anywhere on the planet, chances are you're going to see a tree or two sitting around. But here? I don't know, it looks pretty desolate out there. This tree here might very well be the last one ever. That's an ominous idea, and even more so if we do consider this to be Earth's distant future. What happened to all the trees? The Lorax is gonna freak the hell out, man. This next one is called The World as an Idea by OLXGS. I mean, the name itself is fascinating. The World as an Idea? What does that mean? Well, it looks gorgeous. It's giving Frutiger Arrow aesthetic for sure. It also reminds me of Rain World for some reason. I think it's all the water. There's a lot of seating space at this food court, so that's good. I can see this place getting pretty busy as a tourist trap. I found a park, I think. This is so abstract. Oh hey, these are textures from those Void Place maps. So the map creators got good taste in textures. Yeah, I don't know. For me, this is occupying that exact midpoint in my mind between relaxing and ominous. It looks pretty, but it feels like I'm trapped here. A lot of maps are like that. It's interesting. I can't tell if the map creator does that kind of thing on purpose or if it just happens naturally. Oh, is this a skate park? Well, that tilts the vibe in the good direction. When I was like 12, I really wanted to skate and learn fancy tricks. I had a skateboard, knee pads, helmet, the works. I taught myself how to do an ollie and a caveman, but I was never brave enough to go down the half pipe. Just like my body said, no, it's dangerous, and I couldn't do it. If I got stuck in a place like this for all eternity, though, yeah, absolutely I'd learn how to do a kickflip. If the world was an idea. Such a good title. It makes me look at this place as concept art for human society, or just Earth as a whole. Like some alien architect made this mock-up to show his alien boss what a world with humans in it could look like. It started out as an idea. It's a really strange thought experiment to take something as cosmically rare as human consciousness and apply it to things that happened before life was even on the planet. So yeah, good map. If your map can get me to ask questions about all of creation rather than why there's a toilet here, then it's definitely special. Alright, one more small map and then we'll move on to the last major feature. This one is called The Flying Hotel by Legoyann. It's a map created from real-life schematics of a plane that doubles as a hotel, so it's like a cruise in the sky. Oh wow, look at that, you can actually see lights far below on the countryside. That's a nice touch. I'm not sure I'd be down with buying tickets for this thing, though. It's a neat idea, but I can see why it never got off the ground. I mean, what happens if you're sipping margaritas at this bar and the plane hits some turbulence? You're definitely gonna spill your drink, at least. But that's what video games are for. To explore things that are improbable to exist in real life. This must be the cockpit. It's just a steering wheel. Look, you can see the engines burning away. I don't know, I think I'd get bored of just looking at the sky for hours on end. But that's just me. I've been fried by years of having the world at my fingertips all the time. Yeah, unless you paid me a bunch of money, I think I'd pass on this. I mean, the thing is functionally complete. It's got cabins, bathrooms, entertainment, luggage areas. I just don't think I'd want to get involved in the airborne sequel to Titanic. Great map, though. You know I'm a sucker for maps made with primarily vanilla Half-Life 2 assets. I can't tell you why. I guess it's just charming in a way. Charming and familiar. Alright, that was fun, right? Smaller maps have plenty to offer too. Alright, time for the final map. This one is a series first. This map is called Sky Archive, originally created by CShrimp and uploaded to the workshop by Qer. It's a map made for Team Fortress 2 trade servers, which are servers you visit to trade hats with other players, I think. Anyway, I've never featured a TF2 map on the series before. That's because I honestly never played too much TF2, so I didn't have a good starting point. I bought a copy of the Orange Box for PlayStation 3 with my allowance when I was like 11, and TF2 was the one game on there that I didn't jive with. I didn't like how every map in multiplayer was in zero gravity. Of course, with age came the knowledge that constant low gravity isn't how the game was designed, and that issue was likely caused by hackers modding lobbies. Either way, I still recognize the game's significance in PC gaming culture. And that culture is exactly why I find this kind of stuff unique. Maps like these that are used almost exclusively by their respective communities offer glimpses into a very specific subculture, and I find that sort of thing fascinating. Like take this for example. I don't know who that character is, but here they are, boldly featured in a big painting here, so we have to assume that it means something to someone. It's like overhearing an inside joke. There's something oddly intimate about it. This bar here is making me feel really short, but I think it's because they intended for players to stand on the stools here. I'm amused by the squishy portal. Maybe it's like some sort of fleshy membrane put here in case of a gas leak or something. Yeah, look at this! Just from a purely visual standpoint, there's lots of cool stuff going on here already. This room reminds me of the Sensory Rooms world from the VR chat special we had a couple months back. I bet you could play a sick game of Ultimate Frisbee in here. It's so vibrant. Yeah, that's one thing the TF2 has over other Source games. Everything is so bright and bouncy looking, and I think it's really interesting how community-made maps also stick to that same design philosophy too. Wet beef, made with Dasani. I have so many questions about wet beef. What is it, just beef soaking in Dasani bottled water? Why is it a back-to-school special with a free eraser included? Is it USDA approved? Well, no matter what you're eating out here, this place is sweet. The water texture is bugged since this is a TF2 map and we're playing it in Gmod, but the ambience is still intact. I like how huge the moon looks. Check out those buildings way out there suspended on floating checkerboard islands. What's out there? Is that where someone lives? I mean, there's a sky train right here, so it's not out of the question that this is just a sky civilization. This is reminding me a lot of a level from one of the 3D Sonic games, but I can't recall exactly which one. I want to say it was one of the casino stages. Do you see that track going around? Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's for skill surfing. Skill surfing in Source games is basically gliding around on half pipes and stuff by moving your mouse just right so as to manipulate the movement physics into allowing you to stay on the track. I don't know how flourishing the community is now, but in the past, surfing was pretty popular in Counter-Strike servers. You could find dozens of people on surf servers every day chatting about Britney Spears shaving her head and Icon has cheeseburger memes and shit. I was never a big surfer myself, but I am guilty of zoning out while watching old CS2 surf map videos. It's mind-numbing in a way. I think it's been superseded by Minecraft parkour videos, though. Man, I don't know if the movement physics are just different in TF2 or if I'm just bad at it, but I can't seem to stay on the track here. I think you have to be playing as Scout or something. Look, it's the Pixar lamp. He's not looking so good nowadays, is he? I wish he had a coin dish or something. This is just sad. You know, I can always appreciate big, noisy machinery, but I have to ask, what is this for? There is no way you need this amount of torque for the clock out front. No way. See, look, it's not even moving. Something's going on here. If you look closely at the hands from inside the clock face, you can see that they're glowing with some kind of energy. My hypothesis? I think this clock is some sort of temporal manipulation device. That might also explain the water refraction up in the sky and on the bottoms of the floating islands. This gallery in the sky could be completely frozen in time, suspended up above some city. For us, the gallery appears and disappears in a nanosecond. But for people within the time bubble, time moves normally, and it's all thanks to this steampunk-esque clock device. It looks gorgeous, too. The glass walls work nicely together with the golden trim around the edges to create an extravagant look. And the ivy on the outside is a good touch. The backdrop, though, is what really pulls the visuals together. This looks like a set piece from a Studio Ghibli film, and that's huge praise, since those are some of the most visually evocative pieces of animation created in the last few decades. Hey, speaking of anime, check out this gallery here. I don't think I've seen this many anime characters together in one place since I last logged on to Discord. I think it's fairly well known that anime culture and source game culture are firmly linked together. They're like Abbott and Costello, you can't have one without the other. I guess I would be the exception to that though, since I've never really been an anime fan. I've only ever seen like 2 whole seasons of anime in my lifetime. I just like to sit back and wait for the really excellent stuff to be filtered in through the layers of communities that separate people like me from people that watch every episode of One Piece. That way, if an anime breaks through and I hear about it in my circle, then I know it's something special. You know, your cyberpunk edge runners, your delicious in dungeons, the heavy hitters, the good shit. There's a lot of other cool stuff around in this gallery too, like the... I laugh every time I look at it, man. Like the painting of Ivan the Terrible holding his dying son Ivan, only the editing implies that he fucking cracked him in the skull while playing around in his VR headset. God, I envy historians of the future. Their jobs are going to be so much fun. Also, peep this arcade really quick. It's got a working claw machine. That's the first time I've seen that in a Gmod map. I'm amazed at the fact that it works well enough to actually catch a prize, so well done on that, CShrimp. There are lots of other jokey games too. I think the one that's just the engineer and a big hammer is going to be a huge hit. There's only one button, and I bet I know what it does. Well, that's basically all the highlights of Sky Archive here. I didn't talk about the void boardwalk beneath the map, but there's really not much going on down there. I'm sure all of these floating point sprites are references that I don't understand. Oh hey, there's a piece of the walkway over there that they left in case they needed to copy-paste it again, only they forgot to delete it afterwards. There's also lots of other stuff in the gallery that I didn't have time to go over. A bunch of memes, more anime characters, and lots of Eevee. I mean, lots and lots of Eevee. I don't think you can turn a corner on this map and go 30 seconds without seeing one. It's Eevee City here, man, and it's fascinating. Exploring small maps like these made for a hyper-specific subset of people on the web is internet tourism at its finest. You're getting so much culture here, and for people like me who are looking in at it as an outsider, it's a meal. And on top of that, it looks fantastic. I don't think I've seen anything else like it on the workshop. Really great job here, CShrimp. I hope the TF2 community trades hats on your map for years to come. And that is all I have in terms of Garry's Mod maps for you in this episode. Merry Christmas. Was this a good gift? I didn't keep the receipt, so unfortunately you're stuck with it. I've been sitting on a few of these maps just waiting for a good chance to share them with everyone, so I figured this episode would be a good way to clear the chamber, so to speak. I just want to say that I think all of the maps I feature on this whole series are unique in their own way. These are just the ones that are also hard to categorize. There's not exactly enough maps that take place inside the human body to make a whole episode on it, you know? These ones just refused to get boxed in, and I relate to that, which we'll get into in the next video. I friggin' love weird stuff, man. This video was so much fun to make. Rounding up all the Black Sheep maps from my archives and just diving right into them was like the perfect gaming trail mix. It reminded me of playing Flash games on old websites back in the day where you just click around and get something different every time. There's something to be said for making something completely unlike anything else. Gmod has been around for so long, and there are still original ideas coming from the mapping community. These are just the fringe ones that I had laying around. I'm sure there are hundreds of maps that people find unique and special. As a matter of fact, feel free to leave me a comment if you know of any maps that are one of a kind like these ones. Maybe I'll check them out. Yeah, it's about that time again. Thanks for tuning in to Where Are We Now? I hope you've enjoyed our not-so-Christmas special episode. Keep an eye out for the year-in review video coming soon to a screen near you. And don't forget to call your family. It's Christmas for shit's sake. Okay, see ya.